At Tower, we're on a mission to simplify insurance. So we're making our policies easier to read and understand. Complicated insurance language is out, simple is in. With New Zealand's first car, house and contents policies awarded the right mark, plain language standard. Tower. What the world does, we undo.
Just always had this kind of feeling in my stomach. If I want it enough, I'll get it. And, you know, like I always say to myself, like, there's no point in chasing your dreams when you can make them a reality.
This Olympic Weightlifting New Zealand event is proudly brought to you by Tower Insurance.
The penultimate session on day 2 of the Tower Insurance Olympic Weightlifting New Zealand National Championships, and we move on to the men's 89 kilogram class. 11 athletes in this category. Let's meet them.
Kia ora everyone, and welcome to session 7 of the Tower OWNZ 2019 National Championships. This is the men's 89 kg weight class. Alright, first athlete representing Palmerston North Weightlifting, Aiden Tuake Hope. Representing Palmerston North Weightlifting Club, Jerome Hayden. Representing North Sports, Bailey Gunn. Representing Bailey Barbell, Tyler Creighton. Representing CCW, Kevin Hartwick. Representing Classic School, Ryan Miller. Representing Palmerston North Weightlifting Club, HJP, Hayden Pritchard. Representing CCW, Douglas Sekone Fraser. Representing Otago, Declan Ward. Representing Pumtoto Weightlifting Club, Robert Malaysia. Representing Bakery Barbell, Xavier Albert. The superstars in Session 7 Tower OWNZ 2019 National Championships. Thank you very much, man. Please invite our esteemed officials up to the platform for session 7. Now, sector referee, the infamous Mark Green. Side referee, Jimmy Ebert. Side referee, husband Tony Ebert. Chief Marshal, just from competing, Amanda Gould. Tabulation, we have lovely Shania Allen. Records and certs and tell me what to do, Colette Skinner. On timekeeper here we've got Dom Evans. On music, Bex. And technical controller, Alex. Thank you, officials. I'm about to school you. There are some emergency procedures if there is a fire or some sort of incident. Please listen to the officials and they will take you to the available exits, not run towards the fire. Can you also make sure that the inside toilets are not used by spectators? They are for the athletes only. You need to sort your makeup out. Please do it out in the portaloo. There are also, our vendors are out that way. The coffee guys are not here anymore, unfortunately, but our vendors that are part of our sponsorship team, the Dinosaur and Raise Live, we've also got gear out there. Always got more room in your bag for new weightlifting gear. A few ground rules, and it's proper etiquette. To support the lifter, you scratch the chair for them as soon as they get to the platform, you be quiet. Please give them the best opportunity to focus on what they are trying to do. This is a big event for all of us. Also means that your phone must be on silent. Do not answer your phone call if it is on silent, because that's just as bad. Can you also make sure if you're sitting in the front area over here, if there's a lifter up there, please try not to move too much, because it could put off the lifter, and it's just annoying if you are. Make sure you don't come into the restricted area, unless it's a world record or something, then maybe you can come in and make them, I don't know. But please try to stay away from there. I'll go through in a second some of the rules, but we're going to put on some tunes for the next couple of minutes. We'll come back to it.
Kilogram men's class coming up next here at the Tower Insurance Olympic New Zealand Weightlifting Champs. Richie, this looks to be quite an open division, would that be right?
Yeah, there's certainly a number of lifters that I haven't seen before. This will be their first nationals, but there's probably a couple that may end up on the top of the podium, but there's certainly spaces available.
What's it like competing at a first nationals? It might have been a wee while ago for you now, to be fair, but if you're stepping out here for the first time, there's good support in supporting these athletes, but I'd imagine it's pretty tense.
This will be really intimidating for a lot of these athletes. First time on a nationals podium, but cameras in their face, a commentary team, referee. Like, this is an intense environment, and this is a high-level environment. This is probably one of the better stages that we've produced, so that all adds to that nervousness and that delivery factor for them as well.
We've talked throughout the day about people in this weightlifting community. Everybody's got multiple jobs. Amanda Gould has been in commentary with me earlier today. Then she's just competed. Now she's a technical official. But I noticed some of the guys in this category were coaching the women in the previous one. How tough is that to go from coaching and then preparing for your own competition?
As you said, there's multiple hats being worn by everybody here, and it's something you get used to. It really is. Switching from someone else's performance into your own, the only hope is that your athlete did well in that previous event, because that energy can lead into your event. If they didn't do so well, that's a risk if you're competing in the event after that.
Well, we'll see how these guys go coming up shortly in the men's 89 kilogram division. Not far away from a start now.
Some of our part of the crowd that may not have been to a weightlifting competition. There's three snatches and 3 clean and jerks. The object of the sport is to, of course, put as much weight as possible over your head. The first discipline is the snatch. They have 3 attempts to do that. They must make one of their attempts. If they miss all 3 snatches, it is known as bombing out. That means they cannot move forward into the clean and jerks. I'll do my best to not announce that. After that, they must make one of the 3 clean and jerks to make a total. That total will give their final placing in the competition and determine also if they're junior and senior as well, where they are ranked. Okay? So that is pretty straightforward. There's usually a 10-minute break in between sessions, unless there are technical difficulties like the last one. And afterwards, we will have a little ceremony to celebrate the achievements of all our awesome people. Closer to the start of this competition, we would like to thank our sponsors, Tower Insurance, Better Nutrition, D3 Tape, Raise Lower, Blue Dinosaur, and Love a Pie.
Just a couple of minutes away from a start here in the men's under 89 kilogram category at the Tower Insurance Olympic Weightlifting New Zealand National Championships. Thanks so much for being with us. If you're following the streams on YouTube and Facebook, been a wonderful day and a half so far, and plenty more to come. We've seen a lot of New Zealand, even Oceania records set. Hopefully we'll see some more of that throughout the afternoon and into tomorrow when some of the real big boys start to compete as well. Lots of great spectators have come in here at the Functional Strength HQ. They're putting on a great event on Auckland's North Shore. It's been a beautiful day out, so right being indoors when you get some excellent competition like we have seen so far today and this weekend. Getting up for the snatch portion of the competition, of course, each lifter gets 3 attempts at the snatch. You've got to have one good lift to progress through to the clean and jerk, where you'll get another 3 attempts. And it's all out the back here where a lot of action happens as we watch numbers changing around. And at the moment we've got Bailey Garnham on the clock with 85 kilograms, but we'll see whether he's going to be our first out as the coaches start to mill around the table. Stella Hampton out helping out in the coaching department. We saw competing yesterday.
You mentioned earlier to me how many hats everyone wears, but even just the level of who's involved. Stella, a junior athlete, taking a leading coaching role in weightlifting in the men's 89 kilo class. So you've got one of the women's 59 about to tell one of the strongest men in New Zealand what to do and to sit down. And he's going to have to listen to it.
That's the cool thing about the sport though, isn't it? Because nothing changes, the conditions don't change. Obviously the weight number changes, but very little else. So everybody's experience can add to what they have, and it is Bailey Garnham who will be out first attempt. 85, just one of 2 juniors in this category, 19 years of age. And a good tidy start for Bailey. And we're underway, 89 kilo class.
Big wingspan on Bailey, almost out to the collars with his hand placement. local athlete, trains at North Sport Olympic Weightlifting, which is based out of the Millennium Institute on the North Shore in Auckland.
Great place to train. Rubbing shoulders with all sorts around that area.
And also a local student at Rangitoto College, I believe. I may be wrong there. Don't quote me on that one.
Right. Start to look and relaying the numbers through to the announcers out here and to the loaders so they know what is having to go on. At the moment it is Bailey Garnham following himself, so got that extra time.
I did see Stanislav Shalayev pop into scene there. I think he's taking Bailey to the platform. Stanislav, a Commonwealth Games representative, silver medalist at both Glasgow and Delhi. So certainly in good hands.
Certainly remember his medal in Delhi very, very well. Long story behind me being able to witness it, but we won't go there just yet. We'll keep focused on these athletes. Now we are ready for Bailey again. Good first attempt, 85, and now looking step up to 90. That brings a smile from the coach. From Bailey just yet, strides from the platform, be happy with those two efforts so far.
Bailey having to do 3 consecutive lifts in a row.
Thank you, loaders. 10 o'clock is consecutive lifts.
Which means he will get another 2 minutes.
Of course he wants more. Loaders, 25 kg.
Well, he has done a good jump to now shift the bar to Jerome from Papatoe Olympic Weightlifting.
A big contingent here, the Papatoe Club, certainly. Tomorrow, no Simon Kent there in picture. He's got a lot of athletes to look after tomorrow. So it's also changed as well as for Tyler Creighton to 95. Bay of Plenty. Go the Bay. There's Taylor Creighton. He's the other junior athlete in this competition who's also qualified in the senior level 2. Managed to fight with it, to get it under control, to get 3 white lights.
Big save, big step off to the right. Manages to get it back in control. Tyler training out of Bay of Plenty Barbell, based out of Mount CrossFit. This man is a weightlifting enthusiast. He knows everything about the sport.
Another good train spotter. Good enthusiast. Get him into commentary as well. Bailey Garnham, so 2 good lifts so far. And he's had to come out in quick succession to now attempt his 3rd at 95 kilograms. Loses that one though behind him, so can't complete a lift at 95 kilos, but has 2 on the board and the best of them 90.
For our junior athletes, this 95 kilo jump is your first significant plate change because it adds the large green 10 kilogram disc to the barbell. And psychologically, just seeing that extra plate loaded on, it can play a little bit of havoc. There are a couple of significant changes. You'll see the bar change at 105, 115 and 125, and that's when they add the new plate to the barbell. They'll always load the bar with the least amount of plates on, so those are the changes that you'll see.
Stop the clock. Taking more weight.
The clock being stopped a couple of times as each of the lifters figures out, some of them, where they're going to come in at. Ryan Miller at the moment is next up on 97.
For those athletes that are chomping the bit to get their food in, the weigh-in starts at 10.
Training out of +6'4", Christchurch.
Will be Ryan Miller with his first attempt, so 97 for him. No lift for Ryan Miller to start. 97 kilograms too much thus far.
Locked it out nicely, just let his chest drop slightly forward, and that pulled his line of balance just forward of his foot. You just see him have to chase it, and then couldn't quite get back under the barbell.
Now the balance element of the sport, something we haven't talked a lot about, but so critical.
We like to, it's often talked about like a building. It's all about structure and having that load just transfer through your structure. And if it's forward of your foundation, it's going to come crashing back down.
Now this is Jerome Harituku Papatoetoi, his first lift coming on to the platform, 98 kilograms. Powerful start for Jerome Harituku, a good lift.
This will be for Ryan. Second attempt. Take lotus.
Great build on him, isn't it? Perfect for weightlifting. Just holds that muscle nicely on his structure.
Ryan Miller coming back out at 98. He missed his first attempt. No lift at 97. Oh, got that one under control too. Started to rock forward a little bit again, but gets the score on the board.
Yeah, just a subtle change. There's still, you still see the element of his chest drop forward, so he catches it. Just see the chest just roll forward, and he has to chase under that bar, but he did enough that time to secure it. Something in weightlifting that we say, don't dive, stay tall, be confident.
Tyler Creighton again. The juniors, they are plenty. And straight away, didn't have that.
99 kgs will be tightened up. 99 kgs will be tightened up. And this will be for Jerome's second attempt.
Out in the back room, the final preparations going on in the warm-ups before some of the lifters take the platform. We're going to see Jerome move up. He's only moved 1 kilo, which is what we call the automatic increment. So if you're successful with a lift, the bar will automatically move to 1 kilogram, and then it is for the coach to go and notify the change table if they wish to take more.
So we have seen a change from Jerome Harituku. Moves now.
Tyler has withdrawn from his last lift in the snatch. either too much or he may be carrying a slight niggle, but he's just going to focus on the clean and jerk now.
He's got that one score on the board, what puts him through to the clean and jerk. So now we see Robert Malaysia. 100 kilograms for him to start off with. Tall and lean. Languidly approaches the bar. Good strong start for him as well. So green lights getting on the board. Good lifts on the board early for many of these lifters.
Once more. Loaders, 101. This will bring Robert
Out in the warm-up area.
Goes back into the corner of the Papatoe Weightlifting Club coaching team to discuss where should we move to next.
There's a couple of the Papatoe athletes here in this category as well. Jerome Tuku Malaysia. Between the two of them at the moment, trying to decide who's going where.
So we look at where we are on the table. We have a number of athletes still yet to come into the competition. Another 6 athletes yet to post their first weight.
Jerome Tuku, who was successful with his first at 98, now goes up by 4 to 102. Really good first attempt. Nice. Second effort looks pretty good as well. Good enough for the referees and the judges and Jerome Tuku to get 102 on the board. Bars loaded at 102 for Ryan Miller. Up increment of 4 kilos. Missed with his first attempt in a no lift at 97. Came back with 98 straight after, and now 102. Real fight. Gritty lift from Ryan Miller. Look, 2 or 3 times he might lose control, but clung on for 102.
That chest drops down every time. He goes to stand up and the chest drops down, and he corrected it, and then had to work hard for that. But the patience, I think, paid off on that one. Just waited and waited and waited until he felt perfectly balanced and then pushed through.
Getting down to...
So this is this next change I was talking about. This 105 kilos brings the yellow plate onto the barbell, which is the 15 kilo disc. A little bit of information for you at home. The Olympic weights, green, yellow, blue and red, are the same colors as the Olympic rings. You'll also notice that the smaller discs that go on the outside also represent the colors of the Olympic rings. And they are also representing a 10 kilo disc is the same color as a 1 kilo disc.
Font of all knowledge. Declan Ward steps up for the first time, 105. Good start from the lifter from the Otago Weightlifting Club. Plenty of them here this weekend, performing well. stretch has not stopped.
Callum Helms, Otago Weightlifting, running a fantastic show down there. He's got a massive stable of athletes and a massive stable. He was at the secondary school champs with a huge amount of athletes in Wellington.
All right, he's competing himself as well tomorrow. A lot of work. Here's Robert Meliasia on Papakoitoi again, 105. The athlete has their own little routine they go through beforehand. Can't get control of this one though. No lift, 105. Not straight away, realising perhaps he knew what he'd not quite right in that effort.
See, he's got the shin protection on, not socks, but just some protection. And the goal is to just slide that bar as close up your body as you can to keep control. So you'll see a number of athletes with a lot of holes and rips in their socks. The teeth on the knurling on the barbell is super sharp, so try not to take the skin with it on the way up. They say we put blood, sweat and tears into the barbell, and sometimes it is a bit of blood.
Quite literal. Scrape up the shin. So this competition in the men's 89 kilogram class here at the Tower Insurance Olympic Weightlifting National Championships, starting to progress along. Yet to see 5 of these athletes, and continuing on for Jerome Haretuku, 106 is his next target. Third successful lift for Jerome Haretuku, 106, his best snatch in that third attempt on the board, and he will now have a bit of a breather and prepare for phase 2 of the competition.
Really balanced athlete, just nice lines, little step forward on that one, but still looked always in control of the barbell.
For the first time, we're going to see Aidan Pritchard, 32-year-old.
The man with many roles. And Palmerston North Weightlifting Club also.
Good start for Hayden, a little bit close to the edge there.
Hayden uniquely has transitioned from powerlifting into Olympic weightlifting and was a representative at world level for powerlifting. Often a really difficult transition to make, it's quite weird that you can come from being strong and almost having to relearn how to lift again with weightlifting, because it's not about your strength, it's about your movement.
Robert Meliasia, 107. Oh, good step up. He missed, had a no lift at 105 and then powered through. Raised the bar to 107, was successful.
When you drop a smile on at the end of your lift, that's the best thing you can do. The referees will look at that and go, yep, he's pretty confident that he had that lift overhead and in control.
Oh, now another of the competitors that we're going to see for the first time, Aidan Te Wākia Hope. The athlete who we earlier saw coaching as well. $110 will be his first attempt at the snatch. Good lift. Happy about it too. Great first attempt.
The unique thing about this, the international rules state that you can wear a headpiece for religious reasons. So he is obviously very religious about his baseball. It is religion.
Kevin Hartwick now, 110. Good lift from him first up, so a lot of green going on the board at these first attempts.
Tell you right now, as coach, that one seems to put over his head. Voters.
Kevin Hartwick, Canadian by origin, working in Christchurch as a landscaper.
Now Declan Ward, successful 105, now looking for 110. Powered through it well, good patience again. Rolling through these 89 kilogram class men.
Moving quickly. This cannot be of the benefits for the larger lifter sometimes. If the comp runs smoother, these bigger guys love their rest. That was a really smooth lift by Declan. Just nice line, just stacked on him perfectly.
And now Hayden Pritchard again. He's taken a 4 kilogram move upwards from 107 now to 111. Instruction coming from the side. Keep that control. No lift though. Probably knew exactly where he got it not quite right.
Such a unique sport in that it's powerful and you want to go out there and you want to pull it as fast and as hard as you can, but you don't do that. It's about patience and position. And it's kind of counterintuitive as to I want to go, but I have to be patient to get it across my knees.
What's the toughest part to impart on a new young lifter? Them to absorb the most difficult lesson to absorb.
I think it's technique. This whole sport is technique. However, it's so measurable that it becomes so addictive to chasing kilograms that you want to just add another kilogram, and you can put it above your head, and if you get it, you get the sense of achievement and you want to chase more. But the long-term success of this is movement, and if you be patient and you get that movement, it pays off in the long run. So
Declan Ward looking for a third successive good lift in 113 this time. Can't complete the lift at 113 though. That's 2 on the board, 110 his best snatch to go through to part 2 in the clean and jerk.
Please be ready.
just a little bit of a swing over the top. He just let it drift back too much. Once 108 kilos starts going that way, you're not going to stop it.
Hayden Pritchard again, he missed at 111, he stepped it up to 113 as well. Similar result to last time, but has got one successful snatch completed, so 107 will be his best to carry forward.
Certainly isn't lacking the strength. You just see how much height and purchase he gets on. Just takes off on him, just slightly forward again. Looks over at coach. Coach is probably pointing at him saying it was just an inch forward.
Thank you, loaders.
Hey, here's Aiden. He looks pumped.
He was pumped after his first as well. So 110 was that first successful snatch. Now looking at 115, very focused, intent in that bar. Oh, lost control, started feeling that forward momentum and couldn't get it back. Disappointed, angry with himself.
Just rolling forward. He probably did exactly what he needed to do to try and quickly push out of it before it came tumbling down, but didn't get that step in early enough. The next lifter is listed at 116, so will we see Aiden move to 116 to buy some time? They might try run the clock down a little bit. Oh, he is moving up, so that's going to change the call to Kevin Hartwick from Christchurch City Weightlifting.
Kevin will go from 110 to 116 at his second attempt here. To really fight hard for that one, and it's a good lift, gutsy lift. Allows himself a bit of a smile. Success at 116.
He takes a significant lead in the competition with that lift. 116 puts him 6 kilos up. Aiden gets the chance to claw that 6 kilos back now, though.
We still haven't seen Douglas Sekone Fraser as well. He's due to come out 119. But this now Aiden Te Wake, 116.
I think he's, just loses it. Just loses it. So close.
Much the same, so knew he was close. See him start to come towards here.
Just needed to spend just a half a second longer in that bottom position to let it settle. That one, he just rushed out of that one a little bit too quick, I think.
So that means 110 for Aiden Te Wake Hope. One good snatch, which was his first one. And Kevin Hartwick, as Richie says, if he can land this at 118, it'll be a really good boost going into that second round, putting him out nicely with still,
Certainly going to separate the field.
Yeah.
We've got two athletes currently down to open at 120, which is Douglas Sekone Fraser and Xavier Albert, who's been hiding at the bottom. And if Kevin Hartwick is successful with his next lift, that's potentially going to put a 10 kilo gap between the top three, if they were successful, and then fourth place. It's going to put a lot of pressure on Aiden and his clean and jerk to take some significant jumps.
So it's hovering around, and yes, there was going to be a change because Douglas Sekone Fraser's been ready to go, so he was expecting that. Kevin Hartwick has jumped up to 121, so for the first time. Now, Douglas Sekone Fraser.
Douglas loves the spotlight, so let's have a watch.
About the performance aspect of all of this too.
Sniffing salts. Drops it in the chalk bin for someone later.
120 kilograms is his first attempt. Good start. Had to wait a long time to come out and make his first lift, and he's delivered.
Loaders 120 tightened. 120 tight.
Good start for Doug. Secures it overhead. Looks at the referees. Make sure you're watching me. Yes.
This is the other athlete who has yet to make his first entry into the 89 kilogram class, and you will see him now, Xavier Albert. 21 years of age, so the younger competitors in this field.
This is the first time I've ever seen Xavier lift, so I'm going to be intrigued.
No lift to start for Xavier Albert.
Certainly has the strength. Locked it out, just let the shoulders roll. We'll just see this in the replay. Just the shoulders roll forward slightly, which just lets it collapse down out the front. He will have 2 minutes to sit down and contemplate.
It's only the second missed first attempt of this group. Puts a little bit of pressure on when you miss that first one.
You certainly don't want to leave it to your third. So second, your heart rate's up a little bit, but you're still feeling like, I've got this, I'm confident. But when you move to your third, your heart rate's up, your concentration level, you start adding extra words in, it's not where you want to be. So a lot of pressure on Xavier Albert to get this second attempt.
Lurking around the table. There's 2 minutes on the clock because Xavier Albert coming out in quick succession. Here he comes again for a second attempt at 120 kilograms. Time around, makes no mistake, second time, 120 is good.
And we have a very good competition on our hands now. 2 lifters, Douglas Saccone Fraser, 120 in his first, Xavier Albert, 120 in his second. So currently, as it stands, Douglas is considered the leader because he got that on his first attempt. However, none of this really matters until the clean and jerk. We're just accumulating kilos.
Well, Kevin Hartwick, this is his third and final attempt at the snatch, and he's gone to 121. And no lift for him at 121. And it's still right in the mix though. 116 is his highest attempt at the snatch, successful attempt that is, so he carries that forward.
Yeah, so close. Didn't quite lock it underneath that one. Really pushing his upper limit, I think, on that snatch.
The 2 lifters now left in this first phase of competition. Xavier Albert has 1 more attempt left. Douglas Saccone Fraser still has 2. At the moment, it's Albert who'll come out next with 125 in his third attempt.
Big lift this. This is where we see the extra red get thrown on the outside, and significant for a weightlifter. 125 kilograms.
A big lift, and it's a good lift. Missed his first attempt and then has come back with 2 strong efforts to go at 125 kilograms.
Well, that's going to put pressure now on Douglas Ciccone-Fraser to secure his next lift. That was a good lift.
So Douglas Ciccone-Fraser comes out with 127 in front of him. Will be his second attempt. Rounds the platform, stomps the platform. Nod of the head, pump of the fist, and a round of applause for himself. Douglas Ciccone-Fraser in the front with 127, and he's got one more attempt left.
That was a good lift. Gives him a 2 kilo lead. So subsequently, Xavier Albert is going to have to beat him by 3 kilograms now in the clean and jerk at this stage. But Douglas gets 1 extra lift. So these are all bonus kilos. This now plays an important part in the overall position of your competition. You get 2 or 3 extra kilos now. It puts so much pressure on your opposition in the clean and jerk.
Well, he's really trying to pile that pressure on as he's ticked up to now 133. Perpetual motion, no stopping.
He's chomping at the bit. I think there's a minute 50 on the clock, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see him walk out about now. He looks like he's ready to go.
Yep, here he comes. Fidgety.
Doesn't even want to run out his clock. He's ready to go. 133 kilograms.
Third, very impressive lift. Oh, red lights. Not quite. Thought he had it. I think he did too.
Oh, I saw that little right elbow again. Seems to be the play of the day. Just watch it. Just enough. As I said, if I do look at the referees, they do all have their specs on. So that is why they're getting picked up.
Well, he sold it well. Sold it well, but not quite there. However, it is still Douglas Ciccone-Fraser who will take the lead into the second phase of competition. 127, his most successful lift in the snatch. We thought this might be an open division, a well-contested category, and that's exactly what we've seen, Richie.
It is going to be a very tight competition in the clean and jerk. So a very tight spread of lifters in the top 3, and then straight underneath that as well, we'll have a battle for those next positions. You never know, they might jump up.
So a 10-minute break now as the athletes in the men's 89 kilogram class prepare for the clean and jerk here at the Tower Insurance Olympic Weightlifting New Zealand National Champs.
At Tower, we're on a mission to simplify insurance. So we're making our policies easier to read and understand. Complicated insurance language is out, simple is in. With New Zealand's first car, house and contents policies awarded the right mark plain language standard. Tower, what the world does, we undo.
Getting close to a start here in the clean and jerk phase of the men's 89 kilogram tower. 89 kilogram, getting myself confused now. I've said it that many times. Let's start again. The 89 kilogram class at the Tower Insurance New Zealand Olympic Weightlifting National Championship. This is the penultimate session on day 2. And we thought this might be a very open, very tightly contested division, and that is the case so far. Douglas Sekoni Fraser with the best lift in the snatch, 127 kilograms. His most successful lift, had a miss at 133. Looking out the back in the technical area, in the warm-up area, the athletes getting prepared. Each fascinating to watch how every single athlete does everything differently. They've all got their own routines, their own way of figuring things out, the way they like to do things. Some very relaxed, some betray nothing on their face, others quite intense.
A lot of headphones on out the back there, just in the zone. You can see Xavier Albert in the corner, just head down. He'll have a fair bit of time before he's called out for his first clean and jerk, so he'll just be trying to keep calm. Then there'll be a couple of other athletes. We're only 30 seconds away from the start, so they'll be all ready to go. So you've got to get this warm-up times up right. If you get warmed up too quick or too late, you can end up being either over-prepared or under-prepared.
There's so much going on out there when you were competing. How did you keep it?
We're on the live stream. This is us in the corner.
How do you keep it together? How do you not get distracted by everything else that's going on?
It's practice. When you're young, it's so inconsistent. I remember starting my athletic career, I was actually trialing different things. I would get hyped up for one comp and do horribly, and then so in the next comp I'd come in half asleep and try that, and then do horribly, and then try figure out what's the middle point of it. So a lot of these athletes are still developing what works best for them.
So this is Bailey Garnham, one of the junior competitors. So 115 is going to be his first attempt at the clean and jerk, first athlete out. Nice start for Bailey Garnham. 115 on the board for him.
Quite a tall athlete for this category, so that bar has got to go a long way up.
Now Tyler Creighton, he's relatively tall too, the other junior competing here.
Doesn't look comfortable.
Well, we did see him opt not to take his final attempt in the snatch as well, so I wonder if he's 100%.
I think we saw him signal a wrist after his snatch. I think just that hesitation is just making him a little bit cautious. And as soon as you're cautious, 115 is going to give you no respect.
Got another slight problem on his hands too, because he's going to have to follow himself at this stage. we talk about the height of some of these guys. In so many sports, you want long levers, you want long arms and long legs. Not perhaps quite so much in this one, not necessarily for the tall guys.
Well, there are always athletes that break the mold, and there are some exceptionally world-class athletes that are tall, but you will generally see short, stocky, and heavy. And for a lot of us in New Zealand, that is perfect.
Maybe I've missed my sporting calling. Short, stocky, and heavy.
When I was young, I was a bit disappointed that I was so short, and then I found weightlifting. That's when you're glad you didn't grow.
So we're under a minute now for Tyler Creighton. Haley Garnham, Ryan Miller standing by, and here comes Tyler ready for a second attempt. He's just taken himself away. Try and regather. And a second attempt at 115. Had to hold it and hold it, but it was worth it in the end.
He got a good lift. It's good to see that he got on the board, to be honest. Like I said earlier, you practice to hold that above your head, because if you don't get given it down and if you put a desperate look.
Please, please. And eventually.
Give it to me now.
Oh, tough today.
He was looking at every referee. Look at him.
Oh, we're giving him no sympathy either.
What do I need to do? Please tell me what I need to do to put this down.
Three great experienced referees giving their time. And Tyler Creighton gets 115.
We've got three of the most experienced referees in New Zealand making him hold it above his head for at least 10 seconds.
And you were saying yesterday, might be where bring in a little bit of a cake or something like that next time for a young guy. Just remember, may not have to hold it quite so long next time.
Talking about our referees, we do have a fantastic group supporting us this weekend. Tony and Jenny Ebert, husband and wife, massive supporters of New Zealand weightlifting for many, many years. And Barbara Grieve sitting in the central seat, and she will be in the referee seat for the Tokyo Olympic Games on behalf of New Zealand weightlifting. So that's really special for her to get that appointment. So these guys have the Olympic referee adjudicating them today.
That's Ryan Miller, who's the next lifter under their scrutiny. 117 kilograms is his first attempt at the clean and jerk. It's time to get nice and steady, then brought that leg forward, feet to a standstill, and a successful lift.
Loaders 119 on the bar, please. This would be for Tyler's third. It's a close battle here in the junior section between
All the loaders who've competed already, competed and coached.
Yep, another role that everyone takes. It's doing your time, loading the bar. That's, I guess, one of the unspoken rules of weightlifting, is that you do your time as a loader.
Here comes Tyler Creighton again. Really gutsy performance in this clean and jerk so far, 119.
Not good when you get given the early down signal.
Not going to get it this time. He will have a total, and that's important for the young man. 210 rather total lift, 115 clean and jerk, and 95 in the snatch.
See the juniors in that far right-hand column, only 2 juniors competing. Tyler now complete. He does have the lead, and if Bailey is successful with this lift, he will be the national junior champion. So this is a massive lift for Bailey. If successful, will win his first junior title.
Now here is Bailey Garnham looking for 121. Second attempt in the clean and jerk. Looks good for Bailey Garnham, waits for the approval, and it's a no lift. 1 white, 2 red. He's still got 1 more attempt up his sleeve though.
I think that was more of a press. It wasn't an unlock. He just didn't quite get it to arm's length and then just pressed it through. Let's have a look. Oh, so subtle. He is that far away, but he does have 1 final attempt and he'll come back after a little break.
It's now Ryan Miller again. He too is at 121. Fighting it the whole way. Couldn't get that movement going. So no lift at 121 kilograms.
When you catch a bar like that and you lose momentum, you're trying to use the elasticity out of your muscles and your tendons at the same time. So it's almost a rhythm that you've got to catch that barbell and get out. You can't sit there because if don't have that elastic component to what you're doing, it becomes very, very hard to stand that out. Well, here we go again, Bailey Grant. $121, if successful, will be your junior national champion. Pressure lift.
Can't get it under control, drops the head, disappointing. Oh, frustrating finish because he looked close in that previous attempt. We'll have to be satisfied with 205, which in fact will mean that Tyler Creighton with a 210 total take out that junior competition.
122, please, loaders. 122 for Ryan.
See, Ryan missed his previous lift on 121, moved to 122 to buy a little bit of extra time. Will be Ryan called to the bar.
Our global clock has started.
1 minute call has been given for Ryan Miller. A minute from your name called, there's a 30-second warning bell, which time you've got to make that lift. I've only seen it time out once so far, earlier in the day. Legs just started to separate out, off balance, and couldn't complete that lift. So 219 the total for Ryan Miller.
I think he just tried a different technique. He couldn't stand out of his last lift, so he tried to power clean this and went quite wide. And just the angles there won't let you push out at that angle. You've actually got to catch a little bit higher. So he did try to wrangle his way around the weight, really.
Oh, they want more. 128, please. 128
And now we're getting into a secondary battle. We have a number of athletes. Hayden finished with 107 in the snatch, and now he's the first to come out in this echelon between 130, 128 and 135.
Nicely balanced, good control, and 3 whites from the referees.
129, this will be for Hayden's second attempt. The automatic increment of 1 kg goes on once a lifter is successful. And once more.
Can't really see from this angle, but Hayden's sock game, his hook grip socks on. Favourite with the weightlifters is being unique with their socks. And Hayden's wearing the hook grip socks, who's a reasonably famous photographer, videographer around the world that started hook grip, and he provides you videos and photos if you wear his socks.
Thinking, little business plan. So Aidan Te Wake Hope, who worships at the altar of the LA Dodgers, and attempting 130. Good first lift in the snatch. In fact, no, it isn't. Thought he had it.
I think he had it, but then he just let his elbows unlock. He's not very happy.
130 will be tightened.
I don't think these are referees you want to argue with, but watch the elbow. Good, good, and then just soft.
There, yeah.
So subtle. You just gotta, you can't relax. You gotta hold it until you get the down signal.
Thank you, Lotus.
So this brings Jerome Haritsuku out. Haritsuku, 106 was his best effort in the snatch. He's coming to make his first attempt here in the...
So this will give him the lead, if successful, over Hayden Pritchard with his first attempt.
130 kilograms is his first attempt. Done. Easily completed that lift, 130.
Quick fist pump to Clarence, coaching team. I think there's certainly more there.
So the call now goes to Robbie.
No movement overhead. Brings his feet in line. Bows to the centre referee. I'll be back shortly.
Bandaging and strapping and blister protection,
Colourful.
I'd imagine. A few calluses on the hands.
Hayden with his checkered red and white socks.
A bit
some
going on.
Pink wrist straps and the hat. Accessorising.
So the call's gone back to Aidan Te Wake Hope. Missed his first at 130 and he is going to go to 133.
131.
So that throws it back to Haritsuku, 131.
131. So what you're seeing here now is the coaches are busy at the back.
Look at the scoreboard. 133, 133, 133, 134, 135. This is so tight.
So that puts the call back.
The difference of a can of baked beans.
This will be Declan's opening attempt.
So Declan Waters now suddenly finds himself next up for a first attempt at 133. And he's got a score on the board in the clean and jerk as well.
I've just noticed on Declan that he's sporting a Movember Mo, and we are at the 2nd of November. So if he's got that growth going on straight off 2 days, he's going to be very impressive by the end of November.
133. Loaded.
Aidan Te Hope hasn't had a successful lift, a good lift, since his first attempt at the snatch. He's missed 3 in a row and now coming for 133. Is he going to get the lights this time from the judges? He gets enough of them.
He is lucky with that one, I think. He was with that left elbow. I think he knew it, but he held it. He just held it.
Oh, Robbie's going up once more.
Still celebrates, walks off fist pumps. That's what you got to do.
Yes. Sold it to them this time
And
because
he's
got
on
a
the board.
score.
He's 243 total, so that puts him currently in 2nd place behind Declan Ward.
Well, here's the return of Robert Maliesia. His first effort in the clean and jerk. 107, the best in the snatch. Now 134 will be his first attempt. And he too lays down a score in the clean and jerk, 134.
Very strong overhead. Took a slight step forward after the clean, which can usually have a bit of an impact, but that was no issue going from the shoulder to lock out. Gives the weight a little pump as it bounces back towards him off the platform.
Very tight competition in this 89 kilogram class. And we might see a new lifter come out as we change to 135. Xavier Albert, who missed his first attempt at the competition and then put together 2 good lifts. 21-year-old. 135 is on the barbell. Nice and relaxed, taking that time, a minute to attempt the lift. Going to turn and going to see 3 red lights. So no lift for Xavier Albert.
Just so subtle, that little press out. The problem is that he'll come back and he'll just nail that, just from a little bit more intent. Just needed it on his first attempt.
Aidan Pritchard, 128 was his first score in the clean and jerk, successful attempt, good lift, and now 135. And he gets the majority decision his way. 135, sitting 3rd overall at the moment.
The athletes just picking up 1 or 2 red lights here and there, and it's just the angles of the referees, how they sit and what they see.
35
The pressure starting to come on, a bit of fatigue setting in. They've had to wait a long part of the day to get their chance to compete.
Some of these athletes would have dropped body weight to weigh in this afternoon. So yeah, it has been a long day, probably restricting their intake of food.
Luckily, they get through competition and there's a pie waiting for them if they want them.
Yep, sponsored by Lover Pie this year.
Who doesn't?
We were concerned it might not be appropriate, but it was exceptionally appropriate.
Xavier Albert coming forward for 135. Has he got himself set this time, looking to the monitor, and he gets the 3 white lights second time around, and he's pleased with that effort.
You just see how much more intent he put into that lockout that time. He should have done that on his first lift. I think he was just a little bit complacent with his first lift, thought it would just go up, but that one there, just this much more effort to punch it out. He did well.
And now we see, for the first time in the clean and jerk, Kevin Hartwick of Christchurch, 136 kilograms will be his first attempt. Powerful display from Kevin Hartwick.
Using the power jerk method, which is got a lot of height onto that. He didn't even really re-dip underneath it. It's just a small little shift of his feet. And
is that just a preference, a technical preference, or one you've maybe worked out works better for you along the way?
I'd probably think that he's trialled lots of different ways and found this works for me best, or I'm the most consistent. He certainly looks strong in it, so the hard bit will be when the weight gets heavier, if you can get deeper.
They're really getting into the nitty-gritty now of this competition. It's very tight. 89 kilogram men's division, 137 kilograms now for Jerome Harutuku. A second good lift in the clean and jerk. That gives him 5 overall, 5 good lifts so far for Jerome Harutuku. And he's also hanging in there.
So we have a number of athletes at 243, which makes me wonder how the mathematicians are going out the back, because currently we have Declan in 3rd, Hayden in 4th, and Jerome in 5th. So potentially a kilo could have been missing.
So here's Hayden Pritchard at 137, third and final attempt for him. For Hayden Pritchard to finish off, but a total nonetheless for him, 242 to finish off.
So that 1 kilogram makes a significant difference. If you're at 242 and you've got 3 athletes at 243, and there was another athlete at 241, that's how tight this competition is, 1 to 2 kilograms.
So here is the current third place sitter, Declan Ward, 138. His second effort here in the clean and jerk. getting the approval of the judges, Declan Ward, so he's sticking in his competition too. 138, a successful lift.
Declan will have his eyes on the total from Kevin Hartwick at this point. Kevin's at 252, Declan's at 248, so he needs to make up another 5.
Now Robert Meliasia. Another good lift for Robert Meliasia, 138, bumps him up to 4th place overall. There's still plenty of athletes to come. We haven't seen Douglas Sekoni Fraser out yet for the clean and jerk. And a couple of others with some attempts up their sleeve. Final attempt for Aidan Te Waki Hope. Oh, no lift to finish. Tried to get it under control, couldn't do so. Who misses.
Shakes the hands of the referees.
Finish for him, 138, 243.
Everyone running around shaking hands.
Not done yet though, in this competition. They're trying to decide the placings in the men's under 89 kilogram class.
At the moment, just trying to make sense of this scoreboard. Xavier Robert has 260 kilos accumulated so far. So he seems to be well clear at this point until we see the entry of Douglas Sekoni Fraser. But it's potentially that 3rd place podium spot that's up for grabs. And that has to do with the success of these next few lifts.
Jerome Harituku, 139, 3rd attempt. Can't complete a successive good lift, so he'll finish up with a score of 243 out of the podium places, but some good lifts in there for Jerome Harituku.
He will contribute his total and his points to the Papatoi men's weightlifting team, who are trying to defend their senior title, and he's played his part, so well done.
All right, now down to figuring out these placings. 4 lifters still with attempts to go. Robert Maliasia and Declan Ward have 1 each. Kevin Hartwick's got 2 up his sleeve. And we're yet to see Douglas Sekoni Fraser in the clean and jerk. It'll be Xavier Albert out next. 140 kilograms, his 3rd attempt. Fought it, tried to get it under control and gets 140, a good lift. Xavier Albert stays out in first place, 265 his total.
Young lifter too, very talented, so it'll be interesting to follow his progress over the next 12 months. Really good lockout. From his first attempt, he improved and improved.
Now more towards the veteran end of the scale. Kevin Hartwick, a 30-year-old from Christchurch. Chasing Xavier Albert. It took him a couple of seconds to get it under control, but he did, and that's what's the important thing.
That was an important lift because I think that just closed the door on Declan Ward. Declan needed +5 on Kevin's previous attempt, so that probably just pushed Declan outside of his comfort zone for a third attempt, that he's not going to take the required weight, so Declan's going to take 142 kilograms.
Like a good tidy finish though for Declan Ward. In fact, no, there's no lift.
Oh, that's pretty harsh. We'll see a subtle elbow movement. Oh, you can't even see it on this angle.
Eagle-eyed today.
Yeah, might be a better angle here. Oh, so subtle.
So Declan Ward finishes out at 248 now. Robert Meliasia, his final lift, he's coming in at 142. He gets a no lift as well. So these last couple of lifts really pushing and testing the limits of our athletes. Robert Meliasia, 245 total for him.
Just that back foot of his on that one, rotating out to the outside, which just made him unstable and just followed all through his body. Weightlifting's all about foundation. If you get that right, it all follows, and if it goes wrong, you'll see the weight become unstable.
Two lifters remaining in this men's 89 kilo class. That's Kevin Hartwick with one final attempt remaining, and Douglas Sekuni Fraser, who we are yet to see in the clean and jerk. He needs to come out, put a lift on the table, close to grabbing this title.
Loaded, 148 is loaded. It's restarted. Kevin.
So the clock is on.
Stop the clock.
And now been stopped
150 on the bar.
by Kevin Hartwick, and is going now to 150 kilograms for Douglas Sekuni Fraser's first attempt.
If successful, I think this will pretty much wrap up the whole competition for him. He has such a significant lead over Kevin Hartwick in the snatch that I don't think Kevin's going to be able to overcome this on the total.
Still got to get out and do it, get it on the board. Douglas Sekuni Fraser, he's looked pretty impressive. Stalks along the back of that platform. Look pretty clinical for Douglas Sekoni-Fraser. That will be enough, even with 2 lifts up his sleeve to secure the title. Let's see what he can push himself to in these final 2 lifts.
Real solid overhead, takes a big step forward, but gets himself underneath it. Loves the chalk clap.
Kevin Hartwick now, 150. Yeah, frustrated. But still a really good performance from Kevin Hartwick. Couldn't get that last one, so it'll drop him down to 3rd overall. Xavier Albert.
I think that might have
second.
been the first time he's had a crack at 150, so close to what is a milestone lift in weightlifting. So close. Certainly there next time, Kevin.
So now, Douglas Sekoni-Fraser, he's still got 2 more attempts. He's got the title in the bag. He wants to come out and really lay down a couple of good performances to finish. Nicely done again. Finishing as he started. Some strong lifts, some good performances.
Well, he's certainly clear of the field. 2nd place back at 265, and Douglas comfortably at 282 with 1 lift remaining. Going to have a little clean of the barbell while we're waiting.
So last lift of the competition will come from Douglas Sekoni-Fraser. This is the men's 89 kilogram class. A little bit of a clean up, like the floor. Up the barbell as well. Just a bit of the residue and the chalk and the sweat, and hopefully no blood.
Can be a little bit of a tactic. I know we don't have the camera on that shot right now, but to slow the competition down, you can request that the bar be cleaned, and that the clock isn't running at the moment. So Douglas has 2 minutes, but because they've just given the bar a clean and a bit of a sweep and asked a little bit more, often cheeky, I think he asked for the platform to be swept as well, but it got declined.
Well, I was saying, what did I just say about there being sweat and chalk and residue and hopefully no blood? He's got a little bit there.
Had his hand going with
Yeah,
it.
on the finger. So
Well, he's the last lifter, so that's all right. No one's going to come afterwards and complain about it. He certainly ripped something over on his hand. We're going to have to give this barbell a very good clean after this lift.
yeah, this is the penultimate session of the day. Still one to come later on this evening. It's the women's 76 and 81 kilogram classes. Starting at 7:30 and then tomorrow as well from 9 a.m. right through the day till we finish up with the big fellas at 2:30. 102, 109 in the 109 plus kilogram categories.
We might see something exciting come out of our Olympic hopeful David Leety. These competitions that he kind of gets free rein a little bit, that hopefully we might see him put something significant on the bar and above his head.
coming in that final competition tonight. We'll see the rising stars of New Zealand sport. Kana Andrews Nahu.
Our Lolas doing an amazing job. Thank you to our Lolas. We've got some lollies waiting here for you afterwards.
Now Douglas Sekoni Fraser looks like he is ready to go. Bandaged up, one more.
His finger is really putting out the claret.
Let's chuck a bit of chalk in there. It'll stop it for a while. It's going to be tricky. 162 to finish off. Can't quite finish it off, but nevertheless, the national title belongs to Douglas Sekoni Fraser in the men's under 89 kilogram class. Really good display of lifting, great performance from him. He soaked up and enjoyed the moment as well. He will take that title from Xavier Albert and Kevin Hartwick in third. Tyler Creighton taking the junior title in the 89 kilos. You said, Richie, that he liked the performance, liked that element of it, and he came out and did just that.
Yeah, Doug will be really happy with that performance. Look at that, for the last line of third attempts, that's how everyone was pushing into that zone where it might be new weights, but really tight session. That's what we like to see in a weightlifting comp.
Oh, great to see them pushing themselves right to the limit. So that ends the men's 89 kilogram class. We will be back with the final session of the day. 76 kilogram women and 81 kilogram women coming from 7 o'clock here at the Tower Insurance New Zealand National Weightlifting Champs.
At Tower, we're on a mission to simplify insurance. So we're making our policies easier to read and understand. Complicated insurance language is out, simple is in. With New Zealand's first car, house and contents policies awarded the right mark plain language standard. Tower, what the world does, we undo.
My main goal at the end of the day is to make it to the Olympics. But I try to focus on one event at a time. There's people who want it just as badly as me. I want to focus.
This Olympic Weightlifting New Zealand event is proudly brought to you by Tower Insurance.